Appreciate everybody attending. My name's Captain Carvelis. I'm the acting general manager for the Alaska Marine Highway System, and I'm located here in Ketchikan. And we have in the room with me, Carrie Trout, who is our hardworking vessel scheduler and does a lot of great stuff with the schedule, considering the equipment we have. And also here is Vendela Cadiente, who's helping with the administrative work to get this teleconference going. And we also online have Sam Dapkovich, which is our public information officer, and he helps out quite a bit with this too. So we have determined this morning with everything going on. So I'm going to go through roll call in a minute. Those of you who have attended before know that we comply with civil rights, and I have a brief civil rights statement to read before we get going. Okay, the state of Alaska Department of Transportation and Public Facilities complies with Title II of the Americans with Disabilities Act of 1990. It is the policy of the Department of Transportation and Public Facilities that no person shall be excluded from participation in or be denied benefits of any and all programs or activities we provide based on race, religion, color, gender, age, marital status, ability, or national origin, regardless of the funding source, including Federal Transit Administration, Federal Aviation Administration, Federal Highway Administration, and State of Alaska funds. So again, welcome. Let's go through the roll call. And we will start in Prince William Sound. When I call your community, if you could please let us know
Tony,
what your name
I'm going to
is.
jump in real quick and just say, if you're connected by phone, you can hit *9 to raise your hand and *6 to unmute yourself.
Thanks, Sam.
Thanks.
Okay, that's okay.
Right here next.
Yeah. Okay. We'll figure it out. So let's start in Prince William Sound. Okay, is there anybody joining us from Cordova? And how about to Titlick? Valdez. Whittier. Chenega Bay. Okay, and now moving west, Homer. Seldovia. Port Lions. Uzinki.
Good afternoon, Uzinki Native Corporation.
Here.
In the Anchorage office for Uzinki Native Corporation is Lorena Skonberg, Board Chair, Jake Garner, Vice President of Operations, and Joel Smith, Communications Apprentice. And there's others from Uzinki online as well that'll introduce themselves.
I'm Harold.
Crystal Boskoski, Uzinki Native Corporation.
Harold Schwartzoff, Uzinki Native Corporation.
Robert Boskoski, Uzinki Native Corporation and Native Village of Uzinki.
Catherine Panamarioff, Uzinki Native Corporation, City of Uzinki and Native Village of Uzinki.
Anna Ray Bent, Uzinki Native Corporation.
Okay, welcome everybody. Is there anybody else in Uzinki calling in? Okay.
Mayor Jackson should be signing in here shortly.
Okay. All right, well. Okay, welcome all. Okay, let's move on to Kodiak.
Good afternoon, Bob Brody, citizen in Kodiak, standing by.
Good afternoon, Bob.
You have Jenna Lowmaster, the Executive Director of the Kodiak Chamber of Commerce.
Welcome. I think Jenna.
Jeff Stephen, United Fishermen's Marketing Association in Kodiak.
Welcome, Jeff. Okay. All right. Old Harbor.
Yes, this is Stella Crumry from the tribe of Old Harbor.
Ramona Erickson of the Alutiiq Tribe of Old Harbor.
This is Darian Christensen, Alutiiq Tribe of Old Harbor and City of Old Harbor.
Ray Crumry, resident of Old Harbor.
Hi, Cynthia Burns here with Old Harbor Native Corporation.
Jeff Peterson, City of Old Harbor and Native Corporation.
Gwendolyn Christensen, Alutiiq Tribe of Old Harbor Admin Assistant.
Heather Bogardus, Old Harbor School.
Welcome, everybody from Old Harbor. And let's see, anybody calling in from Chignik? How about Sand Point?
Hello, this is Danica Anderson calling from Chignik. I'm city clerk, member.
She's
And
somebody
I'm
from,
Lana Anderson. I'm a community member from Chignik Bay.
okay. Can, I'm sorry, the two people that identified from Chignik, could you say your names again? I thought they said,
Anderson, as well as Lana Anderson.
Lana Anderson. And what was the other one, ma'am?
Was Danica?
And are you both from Chignik?
Yes, we're both in Chignik Bay.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So if you could, I know it's, so I'm trying to, we're trying to talk through a computer. And so if you could, if it's possible to speak up, we would be able, we'd appreciate that. I'm trying to find the volume key on this computer and I'm not having a whole lot of luck. So, you know, we got you though. And let's see, was there anybody else in Chignik? Okay. Now, how about Sand Point? And King Cove. Okay, moving on to Coal Bay. False Pass. Accutan. And Dutch Harbor. Okay, is there anybody in the greater Anchorage area? Is there anybody in the lower 48? Or Canada? Okay, is there anybody anywhere else that I did not mention? All right, well, thank you again all for joining. We're going to try to go through the questions and comments by communities, going through roll call. If you, before I do that, actually, if you have a question and you type it in the chat, Sam will make sure to interrupt me and ask that question, read the question aloud so we don't miss it. And let's see, so we didn't have anybody identify for Prince William Sound. Is there anybody in Prince William Sound that came in after I called the community?
I'd just like to remind people to, if you'd like to speak, either raise your hand in the app or press *9 to raise your hand on the phone and *6 to unmute. Thanks.
And speak as loudly as you can, because I'm deaf in one ear and I can't hear out of the other. So I worked around a lot of machinery in my career, so I apologize for asking you to speak up, but if you could, that would be great. So we're still in Prince William Sound. And is there anybody, just to be sure that we don't miss anybody there? Okay. And let's see. Let's move to, we didn't have a response from Homer of Soldovia, Fort Lyons. Okay, and then we had a lot of people joining us today from Uzinki. So we're at Uzinki now. If somebody wants to either raise their hand, or I think they're on a, yeah, you're all on a phone together. So if you want to just take turns speaking, that would be great.
Thank you. This is Lorena Skonberg, Board Chair for Uzinki Native Corporation, and we had provided written comments yesterday as well. First of all, we want to thank you for this comment period here for the summer draft schedule for 2023. And as you know, Uzinki Native Corporation and the tribe and the city have also long supported the Marine Highway and has welcomed the service into our village. The Alaska Marine Highway system is a critical component for the life in our village. We have about a third of our community as elders, and they rely on the ferry system for appointments and being transported between the village and Kodiak without having to ride an open skiff to go grocery shopping. There's no store in our village. And also it's a connection not only to the city of Kodiak, but to mainland Alaska. And there's a lot of fog and inclement weather between Uzinki and Kodiak, even though it's, 14 air miles. And many times we go several days without a plane. And so the Marine Highway is very critical. Looking forward into the summer, in conjunction with the corporation, tribe, and city, this summer and next summer into 2024, we're going to be having multiple construction projects, and the ferry service into the village will again be a crucial component to bring in contractors, materials, equipment, etc., to complete these projects timely. And as you know, we, the Uzinki Native Corporation, last summer had completed construction of a $1.4 million dolphin to accommodate the Kennecott as many years, we watched the Kennecott go right in front of our village. And there was not the proper infrastructure for it to dock. ONC took it upon ourselves to fund that, and the Kennecott has come into the village, but looking at the draft schedule for 2023, it's disheartening to see that in week 1, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, while the Testamina is out the chain, Uzinki is once again bypassed. So we would recommend that the Alaska Marine Highway look at that and add the Port of Uzinki to the Testamina or to the Kennecott schedule when the Testamina is out the chain, or any other time when the Testamina is out of service. And also, Uzinki Native Corporation will be celebrating its 50th year in 2023 since our inception, and we will be hosting our annual meeting on September 8th, and there's usually a lot of folks that travel to the village, and this year we're anticipating an even larger number of shareholders and others the week of September 8th. So we would also like to propose a scheduled sailing to support ONC's annual meeting on September 8th. And again, I just want to do a shout out to Amanda Becker and the Kodiak terminal staff for the added service in December of 2022, right before Christmas, when there was inclement weather between Homer and Kodiak, and the Testamina was docked in Kodiak. Amanda reached out to the village of Uzinki and Port Lions, and they had the Testamina had made a special run between those two villages to get folks into town to do last minute shopping before the holidays, when the Testamina would have otherwise just been docked in Kodiak. So we really appreciate that. Those are all my comments. I'm not, I think there's others that would want to comment as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is Crystal Boskowski. I just wanted to echo what Lorena had said with the value and importance of the service to Uzinki. Myself, I moved out of Uzinki in the 90s after I graduated high school. And for me to get back home, I rely on the ferry to take my family. We subsist and we're able to bring everything back with us on our vehicle on the Testamina or Kennecott, whichever it is, and come back to Anchorage without having to worry about freight from air freight. So it's definitely a value. We also share with our elders and others that are from home. So I appreciate the service from the Marine Highway.
Thank you.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, this is Anna Bent with Uzinki Native Corporation. I moved here in the 80s. My family, my husband, he doesn't fly, and we do make it down there to gather our native foods every summer. I think we missed one or two. Latest summer was due to pandemic, but we do gather our native food and share with our elders over the years. And I would like to point out too that Kodiak only getting one airlines now flying to Kodiak from Anchorage. The tickets are outrageous and limited. So that's another point I'd like to give, but I do appreciate your service over the years. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, yes.
This is Harold Swartzoff. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can, Harold.
Yeah,
go
I'd like
ahead.
to also reinforce what Lorena and Crystal both said about your service to the village, and it's especially with the 50th anniversary coming up. That was the one point I wanted to make sure that got there, and Lorena said she was going to cover it. So I just want to reinforce that. But I'd like to throw one other little thing. It's not for Uzinki, but for Old Harbor. I know they've been out of service for quite a while now, and I really would like to see them get service as well, because we really need it and we really enjoy being able to travel to Kodiak and to Homer. So I'm sure they would love to do the same. So thank you.
So, hey, Harold, it's Carrie. Hope you're well. Yeah, I'm working with Captain Mayer on a plan for Old Harbor as you speak.
Oh, okay, Carrie. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
This is Catherine Panamarioff, here in Uzinki right now. I would just like to thank you very much for the service that we have had in the past and are getting in the future. Also, my husband does not fly and he's had a lot of health issues this last year. So we've traveled quite a bit to the mainland. And also my mother too she's one of the elders here in the village and she loves to travel on the highway system, marine highway system. So I would just like to thank you very much for the services that we have had and will continue to get.
Well, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
This is Lorena again, Uzinki Native Corporation. I just wanted to add also that the Village Corporation, we do have a ferry ridership incentive program for our shareholders and descendants. And it's a monthly drawing where we will cover a vehicle and a person between the Village of Uzinki and Kodiak and also the Village of Uzinki and Homer. For those who turn in their past ticket stubs. And it's a way to get people motivated and get people to use the ferry so your ridership numbers increase. Thanks.
Thank you. That's brilliant.
Good afternoon, Robert Buskowski here, ONC and the Native Village of Uzinki. I've been working construction here for the last decade and before we had a landing craft in Kodiak for hauling materials back and forth for building our materials. And we definitely appreciate the ferry service in order to keep us busy and keep us working, unable to transport our flatbed to Kodiak and load up with materials. And I just like to give a big shout out to everybody on the ferry there that is friendly crew. Everybody's smiling, everybody's nice, and yeah, we sure appreciate it, and it sure opens up our logistics for shipping back and forth. I'd like to say thank you to everybody.
Thank you very, very much. I'll pass that on to Captain Mayer. I expect I'll be speaking with him this afternoon.
Hey, Tony, we have a question from Peter Shanigan Jr. He said on the summer 2023 Southwest Week 1 schedule, there's only one stop to Uzinki with the Tustamina, and the Kennecott is going from Homer to Kodiak without stopping. He wants to ask why.
I'm going to have to take a look at that on an individual basis with work rest issues with the Kennecott with the very short legs, as well as the fact that the Kennecott is now tasked with covering Prince Rupert has been added to her schedule as well, which makes it busy here and it slightly skews
the everything boat.
The everything boat. It's the everything boat. She can do everything, none of it particularly, well, but we do use her, push her pretty hard. So I'll definitely take a look at that week by week as I go into detailing the schedule. Again, this is a snapshot prior to getting the real work done on it.
Right. And while the Kennecott's out of town up north, right, the Tustamina has to cover everything.
Well, the Tusty's out the chain just once a month now due to the shortage of ships, so to speak. So we've tasked the Kennecott with even more workload. So I will take a look at it and put it in where I can manage to do that.
Okay, well, thanks, Sam, for getting that one. And is there anybody else in Uzinki before we move on to Kodiak? Okay, so Kodiak, questions or comments?
Yeah, hi, this is Jenna Lowmaster, the Executive Director of the Kodiak Chamber of Commerce. Before I start, I do want to say thank you for giving us the opportunity to have this open forum and discussion. And I do want to echo Ozinki's same sentiments that Lorena had said, that it is very important for them to also be able to have the access and accessibility to be able to get to Kodiak and Homer and Anchorage as much as possible. So thank you again. My biggest concern for this summer schedule this year is I think written in my comments previously, but we do have the Kodiak Crab Festival in May. I believe it's May 25th through the 29th. And as we ran into last year where I believe it was the Tusty had to leave, or no, I'm sorry, the Kennecott ended up leaving on Monday during midday, which really disrupted the festival to a kind of a halt and a standstill to where we basically broke down very early because of that. And as I've looked at the schedule again for this year and trying to work with Golden Wheel to get them to come and trying to find out the schedule, it looks like we're kind of in that same predicament again this year where it will be leaving, I'm assuming midday if it's the Tusty, or by 5 o'clock. So we would have to load by 1 to 2 o'clock given the amount of people. But just trying to find out if there's some alternatives that we can look into, either leaving later that day or making a Tuesday leave, so that all of the vendors, which we have, I would say a significant amount of vendors off island coming this year, more so than last year, so that we don't have to make it a 4-day festival this year and keep it a full 5-day festival. So any flexibility on the end part of the leaving of the trip. So more or less towards May 29th, May 30th, the 31st, the 1st, having as much flexibility to have a ship leave then versus just on the 29th and then not for another week. That's it. And I really appreciate, giving us this opportunity. So thank you.
Thank you, Jenna. And I don't have the detail in front of me. The Tusty chain trips are totally predicated on when the Kennecott launches across the Gulf, because everything is so tied up with each other now. So it seems to me, just from the work that I've done on the little bit of detail, is that the chain is in front of Crab Fest this year, not behind it. So we should be able to squeeze in a couple trips to get the carnival there on a Wednesday. I think it was early. Then the vendors may have to come on the next one, but then I don't have a chain trip backing it up. So I don't think we're going to have the issue with getting them back out of there like we did last year.
Okay.
And Allison's been in touch also with Golden Wheel, because we hadn't heard from them when we reached out to them in October. They were non-committal. So Allison did hook up with them today as well. And so I'll work through that, and you and Golden Wheel as well, to make sure that it's somewhat, coherent.
Okay. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Okay. Anybody else in Kodiak wants?
Yeah, good afternoon, and thank you very much for sponsoring this dialogue. My name is Jeff Stephen, and I just pretty much would like to support what other people said. I've been here for a very long time and spent 18 years on the school board and was a village rep for the school board, and that really opened my eyes to the great need of the villages and how much they use the ferry system. And of course, that's just increased since those days. And so I think you really got a good representation of important opinions here. So I won't dwell on that, but I think that and it's, and there was a lot of people from Uzinki, but, Old Harbor and other villages are equally dependent on many of the benefits of having the ferry come here. I also wanted to just comment, and it sounds like Jenna is working with you folks, but to kind of just try to keep in mind the schedule of Comfish this year, and I mean the Crab Festival, so that we can exercise that activity, because it's really important to the whole island. A lot of people from the villages come in, a lot of outside sources, and it's very important to the community and to many of the businesses in the community and the people who live in the outlying villages. So like you to do whatever you can to work with Jenna to try to make any adjustments that are possible within your scheduling flexibility. And as far as I'm in the fishing industry, and as far as the fishing industry, there are a lot of, as you know, I'm sure there's a lot of traffic between Homer and here with around the seasons, with people bringing in equipment and gear and nets and different kinds of things, and crew and fishermen who fish here in the summer. Many of them come over, on the ferry with a truck and their family, and if they don't live here. And so it's essentially important to the community and to the island and to commerce. And I know the challenges that you must be facing, but we hope you understand the importance and basically the contribution that Kodiak makes to the ferry system and also to the state of Alaska through our generation of fisheries industry here. And so we would hope that that would be recognized in supporting a good system that meets our needs. Thank you very much, and very much appreciate the fact that you folks are holding this dialogue. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. We appreciate it.
Good afternoon. This is Bob Brody in Kodiak. Yeah, once again, I'd like to thank you for the opportunity for input. In June of this year, it will have been 50 years since I got on my first ferry in Prince Rupert and took it up to Haines, and then rode the Tustamina from Anchorage at that time to Kodiak. And in the many times I've gone back and forth and up and down on the ferries, without exception, the people who crew those ships and organize people getting on and off have been very polite and helpful. And so we've always enjoyed interacting with ferry people. So as everybody else has said, the importance of the Alaska Marine Highway System to us in Southeast and points west, can't be overstated, especially, for example, the Coast Guard people here, with hundreds of people coming in and out of Kodiak every summer for the Coast Guard, that many planning on shipping their goods and families on the ferry system is very important to them, what the costs are and the time involved with their families. So I'd like to reiterate that. So this is not the venue probably for trying to convince people of the value of the Marine Highway System, but I hear the legislators talk sometime and they refer to the state subsidized Alaska Marine Highway System, which is spurious at best and disingenuous, in that I would argue that the whole Department of Transportation system is state subsidized, and the toll road from Wasilla, Palmer to Anchorage would probably be fair for them to pay their share of what the road costs and maintenance are. Same to Fairbanks. But whatever you can do to satisfy access to the mainland or the main part of Alaska and to Kodiak from the villages would be greatly appreciated. I know they look forward to the visit of the ferry every time it ties up there. And same with the communities out west. I know the Tustamina is really look forward to every arrival. So I thank you guys for all the work you do and trying to accommodate every small community. And let us know if you need some help with supporting your budgets. So thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank
We
you.
really appreciate it. Again, the original ships from Marine Highway did hold up in good stead and did a brilliant job while we had them. It's sad that we don't. We hope we get some more in like kind.
And also, if you know somebody that wants to work for the Marine Highway System, we are hiring. So please pass that on. But thank you for your comments. Was there anybody else in Kodiak before we move on to Old Harbor? And I meant that for all the communities.
Yeah, all
We
of
are
you,
we are
especially the
hiring.
listening community.
Yes,
Give us a
I want to
call.
make sure I made that clear. Please, we're looking for help, and we love to hire Alaskans. So anybody on the phone here.
Yep, and mention there's a $5,000 recruitment bonus for certain positions with passenger services, I believe, so.
That's right. So yeah, the Marine Highway is one of the few places where you can work your way up from, an entry level position and become a captain or a chief engineer or a chief steward or a chief purser. So for anybody of any age who wants to start a career, we are seriously looking and hiring and offering incentives to come and work for the ferry system.
Old Harbor.
Old Harbor.
Yeah, hi, this is Stella Crummy from the Tribe of Old Harbor, and thank you for this opportunity for us to be able to be here listening to all this. We do not have regular scheduled barge or ferry services into our community. And it's very difficult to transport vehicles and large amounts of freight into Old Harbor. Currently, we pay an astronomical rate of 83 cents per pound on air freight transport to Old Harbor. This is a huge expense and burden on top of the high cost of living for residents, businesses, schools, city, tribe, and village corporation. We believe that with ferry service from the state of Alaska, we will have the potential of increased economic opportunity for tourism and merchandise export. We currently have 3 successful fishing and hunting lodges, 2 B&Bs, 2 grocery stores, and a local native artist, amongst other businesses. The Alaska Marine Highway ferry system will provide increased access to our community and have a direct positive impact on our local businesses and economy. With ferry services, we will have the opportunity for bulk transport of goods, which would result in reduced prices at the local stores and businesses. We built a city dock in our community to gain access to the Alaska Marine Highway system. Having access to the ferry system is not only basic transportation necessarily in our community, but provided economic opportunities for ecotourism, revenues for our local businesses. We are very concerned that there is no ferry service being proposed to Old Harbor in 2023. It was noted that there are substantially more ferry service to other villages around Kodiak Island. We respectfully request ferry services to Old Harbor at the very minimum of 1 round-trip visit per month, May to September. We appreciate your support and look forward to working with you regarding ferry services in Old Harbor, as it is a vital component to our transportation needs and economic sustainability. So, thank you for listening to us.
Thank you very much for your comments and again for sending in the written comment as well. As I mentioned to Harold Skortzoff a little bit earlier, I'm working with Captain Mayer as we speak on getting a schedule into Old Harbor on a monthly basis with a round trip this summer. So sometimes the stuff just doesn't show up on the detail because I'm trying to squeeze a lot of stuff into a few ships these days. So it's kind of hard to depict it in the graphs, but we certainly will do what we can to see you on a round trip once a month in the summer. And I'll get in touch with Cynthia or whoever I've got the contact on the letter and let you know how that's going to play out.
So we're coming.
Yeah, we'll be there.
In case you
It's not
didn't-
sure what it's gonna look like just yet, but we will see you.
Okay.
Everybody's smiling in the room.
Okay, yeah, we are too. So, yeah, we'll be welcome back, okay.
Thank you all. This is Cynthia Burns. I've been working with our village corporation and our city and tribe for over the last 15 years. And we've been working together to build our infrastructure, build our economy, and really provide opportunity for community members who have moved away to move back home. And of course, that's closely relied to transportation is a big part of that, and the cost of living. And the Alaska Marine Highway does play a huge role in that for rural communities that are served by the Marine Highway Service. So we really greatly appreciate all your guys' work. And Carrie, thank you for working with us. And Captain, we really appreciate it. And that's great news to hear that we'll have some service. And we'd like to work with you all to make sure that we're able to notify our community members well in advance so they can plan. We haven't had service regularly, so we want to make sure that we can notify all our community members so that they have ample time to make their plans and arrangements, getting vehicles in and out of the community to be worked on, and things like that, for the store to be able to bring down box vans full of groceries and such. It's just going to be a huge savings for our community members and the cost of living. So thank you so much. We really appreciate all of your guys' efforts and collaborating with us to make it happen.
Thank you, Cynthia.
Thanks, Cynthia. I'll send the schedule once we get it figured out to you, or I think there's contacts on the letter as well, and also notification of when the schedule is projected to go live.
This is Heather Bogardus. I'm here at the school. I'm a teacher. We haven't had service here since my first year here. And as a teacher who has to be seasonal and come to and from the village, having that ferry service, in May and September was huge. And I just wanted to reiterate also about the need to advertise it, because teacher retention is really hard in rural Alaska, and teachers are often put off by taking a job in a place where there's not a lot of transportation, easy access to get their goods in and out. So it is really important that we, are able to advertise that as soon as possible, just to kind of help with that. And also we haven't had a lot of luck getting our school vehicle in and out for regular routine maintenance, and getting bulk items sent out to the school has been impossible because of the high cost of freight. So again, as soon as we know about those things, the better it is. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, this is Jeff Peterson, the mayor of Old Harbor. I just want to thank you for looking at putting us on the schedule. That's great news. But, the village has been working together with all the entities, the tribe, the city, and the village corporation, and along with the school, trying to maintain the population and also bring people back that moved out. And it's challenging when you've got the cost of airfare and just the basic housing, and if the ferry can get us on a regular schedule, it would probably, I know it would help our progress. And it's, we're building infrastructure, and the cost of getting the materials to the village is really prohibitive. I mean, it's slowing down the progress that we're all working so hard to achieve. So thank you for looking at getting us on the schedule. That's really good news, and that's a big step for us. Thank you.
You're welcome. We'll do the best we can with what we got to work with here. So yeah, I'll be in touch with you guys and let you know how it's gonna play out once Captain Mayor Norway.
Thank you, Mayor, and we will talk to Captain Mayor
Yeah.
on the Tustamina. So appreciate that. Okay, so we're getting ready to move on to Chignik. Assuming no more comments or questions from Old Harbor. And you can see in the chat there, our application. Okay, so we'd love to hire some folks from Old Harbor and all the other communities in Alaska. So it's there to use or to pass on to interested people you may know. So we are in Chignik now.
Hello, can you hear me?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, Robert Carpenter, mayor of the city of Chignik. We appreciate everything that you guys do for us. And when you do come through, I did not catch the early part of the meeting, wrong information. I believe you were saying the Kennecott is going to be coming through on the first run in late May.
Not out the chain, sir. It's it'll be coming out of the yard and getting on the run in mid-May. I believe it was May 11th. And it would be a southbound to Bellingham before circling back up to Kodiak, Whittier, Kodiak.
And Tustamina will not be out at that time, right?
The Tusty chain trip, I don't have on the tip of my brain, but I think it's right around the 16th of May.
Oh, okay. And on that though, fishing is very important to this community, and our fishing season starts when it's going good, which it hasn't for the last few years, but when it's going good, it starts usually around June 10th or so. And late mid-May is like kind of early, and a lot of fishermen and crew members take that boat in to get here. So when you're coming late June, that's getting to be kind of late. And again, as everybody has said, airfare is horrendous, and to get people in and out, and especially when you're scrimping by on a bad season, it's very important that we have that early run. And I don't know, I recall the days back when we actually had a late April ferry, and they ran all the way through mid to late October. And so, you know, the late month ferry, it's good that we get the ferry service. You know, we built a new dock here just to accommodate the ferry. And it's very important to us to get it in at the beginning of the season and at the end of the season, which if the early September ferry, I guess would be really good instead of late in the month. But again, thank you very much for listening to comments there, and we do appreciate you getting here at all. And I know you guys are tight on ferries. So again, thank you.
Thank you for your comments. And again, I don't have the detail in front of me. I've just started working through it. I don't know exactly when the June rotation is. Again, the Tustamina is tied to the Kennecott, and they both kind of drive each other, and we're kind of limited on how I can manipulate the Kennecott due to the length of the trips that she currently takes, time, distance, speed. So, and there's not a lot of ways to manipulate it, but it seemed to me it was mid-June was the second sailing. And then generally what I've been trying to do is have 2 trips in September. Again, you never know, because it all depended on the fish, and we write a schedule depending on the fish, and then the fish don't come, but we'll continue to do that and hope the fish do come, and that both of those sailings at the end of in September will be utilized, as well as, you know, the once a month through the summer.
That would be great. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
This is Lana Anderson from Chignik. I'd like to have a comment, please.
Go ahead,
I
Lana.
see that I was looking at the mission. provide opportunities to develop and maintain a reasonable standard of living and high quality of life, including social, education, and health needs. And it is very vital that we have the ferry come here every month from September until, from May or April till September. We need it every month. The cheapest way for people and families to travel out of Chignik is on the ferry. A round-trip ticket on Lake Clark Air is $1,374 Anchorage and back, and for children 8 to 3, it's $900 round-trip ticket. Ferry is much cheaper for us. And the ferry stopping in Chignik is just not for one village. People from Chignik Bay, Chignik Boone, and Perryville all come here to Chignik Bay to catch the ferry. So it is not just for one village, it's for multiple villages. And the ferry is the only economical way to get a vehicle in Chignik. The other option is to get a vehicle ordered from Seattle and have it brought up on a boat. And that's very costly. I don't even know what the cost is because people don't generally do that. But as you know, there's limited space on the ferry. So we need that ferry to get here each month, spring to summer. Because it's very hard to get a vehicle on there. And that is the way that we get our trucks here in Chignik, is on that ferry. Chignik has, as Robert said, Chignik has seasonal fishermen that arrive each spring on the ferry. And there are family and cultural ties between the people of Chignik and Kodiak. Numerous people that live in Kodiak are originally from Chignik. There have been people that travel back and forth on the ferry between Kodiak and Chignik to visit their relatives. This happens in summer. And elders choose to ride the ferry. As you know, elders are often on fixed income. The ferry is the preferred mode of travel in the spring and summer. And as Robert mentioned, we have a dock that the city has put much effort into getting funding to build this dock primarily for that ferry. It used to stop at the cannery, but the cannery dock got dilapidated and it would not stop there anymore, so the city built its own dock. That's one of the main reasons. And the city continues to improve and get funds to improve that dock. So as you can see, very vital for that ferry to come here spring through summer up till fall so that people can get in and out of Chignik without paying an arm and leg to fly out. And we need that to bring our vehicles in. So please consider multiple trips to Chignik this year. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comments, Lana. I actually did ride the Kennecott out the chain a few years back when the Tusty got stuck in the yard. Tusty's in the yard now. It looks like, you know, she will be in pretty good health, and we'll do a happy dance on that. And I actually got off in Chignik and spoke with some of the people, and you're right, the whole town turns up, multiple villages, and you know, so I saw firsthand how people rely on the ferry service out there in the summertime. So we'll do our best to keep it going once a month and try to do a couple at the end of the season to clean it up before we can't come back out again. So again, I appreciate your comments and the patience that you've had while the Tusty's been in the yard for long periods of time in the last few years. And we'll hope the new Tusty comes out post haste.
Thank you.
Anybody else in Chignik?
Hi, this is Danica. Hopefully you guys can hear me better now.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. I did provide a written comment, and I just wanted to add, so my family took a small vacation. We took the ferry from Chignik down to Unalaska this last summer. And I have a middle schooler who, we live in an isolated community, and just that small trip to our neighboring communities is so meaningful to people who live out here rural year round, but it's extremely expensive and difficult. And I wonder to improve the use of the ferry for local people who are here all the time, but don't see these nearby towns. Considering a family vacation package or some kind of encouragement to get people in these rural communities visiting their neighboring communities. I think it'd be great for these rural people to see their neighbors more often. And I just also echo what everyone's saying, how important the ferry is to us. If we could get an additional ferry that didn't do the whole run, I know this is something that's been brought up before, but if there could be a Chignik run, it could save resources for the Marine Highway system, wouldn't take as long. And it would service multiple communities here at Chignik. But it would also open the door to more economic opportunity as we try to develop our local economy more. We need more people to see our communities and visit us. We need more people being able to travel here so they can live and not feel isolated or trapped, and encourage them to live here. So we can keep our school open and keep our community, and we can just try to thrive out here in rural Alaska. And I really appreciate the ferry coming out here. So thank you to everyone.
Thank you, Danica. We really appreciate it. We'll just, again, just hope the new Tusty comes along pretty soon.
So let's see. I believe we got everybody in Chignik. If I haven't, please let me know. And that leaves the rest of the chain, which nobody spoke up. So is there anybody from any of the communities from Sandpoint westward? Okay, anybody in Anchorage or anywhere in Alaska? And once again, anyone, anywhere in the United States or internationally. Okay, well, that's it. Sam, did we get all the questions in the chat?
Yeah, I believe we had one other question about Chignik Bay, but I think it was covered by Carrie. Someone said Uyak 2 was the name of the user, and they said, is there any way to get ferry service out the chain twice a week during the summer?
I think they mean twice a month.
I'm sorry, they wrote twice a week. They probably meant twice a month.
For which community, Sam? I'm sorry.
Well, they referenced Chignik, but they said they'd like to see what I assume they meant twice monthly service.
Okay, well, they get an out and a back. The Tusty goes out the chain and it comes back once a month.
Yep.
So it's actually 2 stops, but directionally opposite.
Okay.
Oh, and 2 at the end of the season. 2 trips.
Two a month, right? Or right
There's
at the
one
end of the
chain
season.
trip a month. Out, one back. That's 1 chain trip.
Okay, so it's the same at the end of the season.
At the end of the season, there, I'm trying to get 2 chain trips. In September.
2 chains. Okay, I see. Okay, well, thank you, everybody. And thanks for joining. Like always, we try to do the best we can with what we have, and we hope to have a schedule that satisfies everybody's requirements as best as we can do. So anyway, thank you again, and I hope you have a good evening.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you very much.
Thank you.